Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I'm Mighty the Armadillo here. Welcome you all back for the likes of the Mexty Toys videos as to be expected. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Nintendo Wii / Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D for the Nintendo 3DS. So, last time we've basically managed able to fully 100% through everything in terms of the forms of the jungle world, and in addition to that, we also did manage to able to collect every single remaining puzzle pieces in certain levels, because some of them are actually kind of well hidden. And on top of that, we did also tackle for the first temple level as well, which is by the forms of Platform Panic. And yeah, it is pretty tough though. Yeah, I digress. Today for this video is that we're going to be moving on to the next world in the game, which appears to be the beach. And to begin with, here we go with level 2-1, Poppin' Planks. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, yeah, we're about to get started right here. So as a result, for those of you probably wondering about the fact that what happened during the Forms event yesterday, that obviously Tiana, she's now working on the next Metroid Let's Play recently, and that's what appears to be Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. And she was really looking forward to able to doing that particular game for some time, especially after completing Super Metroid back in December last year, that, you know, Sonic did already tackle for that, and potentially after the events of what Mega Man already tackled for the first Metroid game, alongside with the forms of Proto Man also tackles through Metroid 2 The Return of Samus. So maybe eventually that either me or Mighty might able to actually tackle for a Metroid game at some point. Well, I don't know about you, because I'm pretty sure they are pretty much getting close towards the end in terms of the forms of the 2D Metroid stuff. Well, aside from the fact that, well, I'm pretty sure they'll let Mighty were able to actually tackle for Metroid Dread at some point in during the Forms of it next year or something like that. Well, time will tell as far as this is concerned, especially because about the fact that we pretty much almost at the very end of the 2D games before we move on to the Metroid Prime games, alongside with the forms of some controversial ones, specifically Metroid Prime Federation Force for the 3DS, and also Metroid Other M, because of how the fact that I know for a fact that the story on Metroid Other M is very, very, very a huge mess as far as I'm concerned, and I honestly have no idea what I was going to be doing right there. I know the fact that the pig is going to tell me what I'm supposed to do, but I did somehow figure out for myself. So either way, so few things I want to explain for this point today, and that is that today's date, of course, there is the 3rd of May today, in this case in 2023 today. Naturally speaking though, about the fact that during at some point in the next 3 days, that something will happen during the Forms within the UK country. And guess what, folks? It's about the fact that we're about to be celebrating the King's Coronation Day at some point in this coming Saturday. Yep, specifically on the 6th of May. So as a result, relatively speaking though, I think we'll let Sonic be able to actually focus on his continuation part in during the Forms within Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 at one point. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, hopefully though, and also just realized something is about the fact that the weather condition is actually very good today. Yeah, especially concerning about the fact that after all, we've almost had summer at this rate. So as a result, we can pretty much guarantee that once we've basically done with this particular recording session, Ray, oh yeah, we can potentially try to able to spend some time in the garden. So as a result, hopefully we're able to get ourselves some vitamin D for trying to able to sunbathe for a little bit, even though despite the fact that the temperature itself is still rather mixed. But as a result, until when it gets to the point in during in summer, oh boy, it will be a lot hotter later on. So, pretty much as far as this is concerned, despite the fact that the UK country's weather conditions feels a bit luck-based at points, because, relatively speaking though, sometimes it can be unpredictable when it comes to likely for its weather conditions, you know? Well, usually relatively speaking though, it might be some time to get used to, I guess, so. But I digress. So, there are quite a few stuff we'd like to mention for this point, and that is that obviously today is the forms of the introduction to the Bowser Tour in Mario Kart Tour. And for what I've played it so far, I actually kind of like it, even though it does have some issues, I will admit that right away. But first off, I really love the fact that, oh jeez, I'm almost going to be dying in here. Now, unlike any forms of how it does in the past Donkey Kong Country games, normally the water doesn't harm you. In this, the water does harm you, especially if you ever dare go into the actual water. Basically, you die instantly. So, No idea why they're going for that particular change though. Although thankfully until when it gets to the sequel, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, thankfully at the very least we're able to actually take control of Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong in underwater in that game. So as a result, yeah, we'll talk more about it until whenever we get to next year. So either way though, because relatively speaking though, someone said in the comments down below that do you want to tackle for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? Well, he did say about the fact that with that particular question in mind, and I apologize for that particular commentary is a bit still to that point once again, but that's just because I somehow almost belched at one point, so I do apologize for that. So as a result, yeah, we're about to be doing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze until next year, as I said this earlier, mainly because of a few multiple reasons. First of all, we weren't able to get this game finished, and secondly, that not only does the forms of the Wii U version of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze will turn into 10 years old next year, but potentially speaking, we could also decide able to tackle for another Donkey Kong game at some point during exactly the same year as the forms of Tropical Freeze's Let's Play or something like that. Well, mind you about the fact that, spoiler alert, we are most well able to actually focusing on the Switch version because of faster loading times, and on top of that, well, relatively speaking, I think that's as far as we can think about it. So, but aside from all that stuff, though, that's as far as I can think about it. So, yeah, we'll definitely do that at some point. So, either way, I get the horrible feeling we actually missing something, like this puzzle piece. So, wasn't too surprised about this, but still. Oh, nice! Oh, at least we got 15 banana bunches right there. So, either way though, if you ever played the 3DS version, basically it just replaces the motion controls with button mashing, so I guess it feels like a nostalgic throwback to the forms in the past Super Nintendo games or somewhat. So, anyway, so here we go into 2-2, Slopey Sands. Oh, jeez, I wonder what this is gonna be brings us into. So, anywho, so yeah, whenever we experienced the forms of the Bowser Tour recently, during the forms of the Mario Kart Tour, I just really... Oh, there is a puzzle piece in there, already from the get-go. But if you're probably wondering, how are you supposed to be able to get that puzzle piece? Well, you know that particular target thing right there? Well, basically deliver that particular barrel and hold it for a bit and toss it and boom, there you go. There are a couple of times though you will come across into that situation right there. So just something to keep that in mind. So anywho, so yeah, I really do love the fact that I really enjoyed the reimagining version of the forms of the Super Nintendo track, which is of course Bowser Castle 3, that basically I just adored every single aspect of it, including the dynamic, and especially noticeable about the fact that I just really love the actual, the 3D version of that particular track. And on top of all that stuff though, even though the music plays out exactly the same as the original counterparts, let's just hope about the fact that that track will obviously make its return during the forms of in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm hoping anyway. During the forms of in World 5, don't you think? Well, I guess surely I might as well say the same thing, because obviously we haven't got a single retro Bowser's Castle returning in Mario Kart 8 so far. Because as far as I'm aware, unlike the forms of how it does in, let's say, the majority of Mario Kart Super Circuit, that basically it gets like every single retro Bowser Castle tracks based off from Super Mario Kart returning during the forms of in Mario Kart Super Circuit. And on top of that, with the forms of Mario Kart DS does have one retro Bowser's Castle, which appears to be buddy forms of the ones on the Game Boy Advance in Bowser's Castle 2. And I think, relatively speaking, in Mario Kart Wii, it does also have one retro Bowser's Castle, and that's what appears to be buddy forms of, well, the one on the N64. Meaning about the fact that, without doubt, one of my favorite Bowser Castle tracks in the entire Mario Kart series, especially because I have a lot of, you know, nostalgia memories for it, especially concerning that Sonic did obviously told me about this. So, anywho, so, I was hoping I can get that end, but actually, kind of think about it, let me go ahead and, just trying to do a bit of a, oh jeez, we have to watch out for those red squid missile things, because obviously it's electric, so yeah, just have to be able to watch out for that. So, and of course keep in mind though is about the fact that in each and every single segment throughout the majority of the level, it seems that we're kind of missing something here, but again, if we basically almost done with the world, then we can probably go back into certain points throughout the whole thing, so... Anyway though, so let's just go ahead and climb all the way up to the top, especially concerning about the fact that, well, that's what I can really think about it. Anyway, so... Yeah, because relatively speaking though, about the fact that, and also during the forms within Mario Kart 7, that it does have the returning retro track based off from the likes of Super Circuit. Oh wait, technically speaking, there was also Bowser Castle 3 on the Game Boy Advance also returns during the forms within Mario Kart Wii. Jeez, I think I sort of miscalculated on that. I do apologize for this point, folks. Especially concerning about the fact that I haven't exactly touched upon Mario Kart Wii for some time, so as a result though, let me give you a brief recap. In Super Circuit, it does contain all of those retro Bowser Castle tracks based off from Super Mario Kart, and Mario Kart DS does have one retro Bowser's Castle level, which appears to be based off from Super Circuit, and in addition to that, 2 retro Bowser Castle levels in Mario Kart Wii, which one of them is on Super Circuit, and the other one on the N64, so yeah, I must have miscalculated on that, but either way though, I apologize for that. So yeah, as far as Mario Kart 7 is concerned, I'm pretty sure it has like one Bowser Castle retro track, which appears to be based off from Super Circuit after all. So yeah, because of this though, we have not got any retro Bowser Castle track yet during the forms within Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I'm hoping Bowser Castle 3 will be on there, especially concerning about the fact that, well, we do need more Bowser Castle themed tracks, so as far as I'm aware, like a traditional standpoint or somewhat. So anyway, we got ourselves the map key, so that way we can able to actually access the next level, but we do need to finish one of the levels first, so just to ensure that we will be able to come across into that. So here we go, on to 2-3 Peaceful Pier. Okay. So anyway, oh, in addition to that, about the fact that we also managed to try out the forms of GBA Bowser Castle 4. In some cases though, as far as what some toy sales has already mentioned about this, ever since by the end of April, that Mario Kart Tour now actually got every single Bowser Castle GBA tracks returning here. Like 1, 2, 3, and now 4. So yeah, that's actually super dope and everything, right? Well, here's the thing about this though. Actually, I'll get into more details in a moment, because here we have another mechanic or the gimmick of this level, as you can tell, and basically we come across into the rocket barrel segment, and basically it's kind of like the minecart a bit, except you can able to actually just take a ride on a rocket barrel, and basically just like in the minecart segments of the game, basically you have to dodge a lot of stuff, including enemies like sharks, as you can tell. So yeah, everything else will be a little bit punishing if you're not careful with the timing. But for the most part, in the beginning it's not so bad, but until later on though, it gets tremendously difficult. Mainly in World 4 most likely, because my god, there's a lot of, well, frustration here and there during the forms of that World 4 in mind. So, but I digress. So, but at least thankfully the puzzle pieces aren't too bad to obtain, and I'm pretty certain that the last one is going to be somewhere by the end of the level, so, and keep this in mind, in order to able to actually get the puzzle pieces in certain segments of the level, is that you need to able to keep on collecting every single bananas in the path, and basically that's essentially how you can get for this point. And speaking of such, there's another puzzle piece there, and another one just nearby. So, yeah, we only got one more left, and that's going to be towards the end. So, and something tells me we're now on the final segment, where basically we do need to avoid that particular cannon fire, because otherwise, if we dare get touched by an explosion, or anything else like that, then obviously we'll die instantly, so... And there's the G right there, so that should be good to go when it comes to getting the Kong letters. And surprisingly enough, we actually did the entire level within the first attempt, which is kind of crazy. Unlike the forms of how it does in one of the first minecart levels that we did somehow die a lot, especially concerning about the fact that we obviously trying to aim for not only puzzle pieces, but also with the Kong letters. Well, again, you don't have to necessarily try to get the puzzle pieces in mind. Well, aside from the fact that the only thing you can get is concept arts, and that's pretty much about it. So, anyway, so speaking of such, there's the last puzzle piece in Peaceful Pier, And suffice to say, we've done everything, so... yeah! Oh! Hopefully we'll rank up some more extra lives later down the road. Especially again, it's super easy to get extra lives in this game. Especially unlike the past games, that basically in order able to get extra lives, well, you simply have to able to find them for certain spots or anything else like that. So anyway, we have Cannon Cluster and Blowhole Bound. Let's go with 2-4 Cannon Cluster. So either way though, just to make things in a chronological order basically. So anyway, so yeah, whenever we do manage to experience Bowser Castle 4 remade for the first time, well, I do have two gripes I have with the phones that particular version of Bowser Castle 4 returning from Mario Kart Tour. Although I'll get to more that details in a moment, because obviously the highlight shop does manage to bring us into. I can assure you, for the first week, it contains Meowser, which originally I was expecting to try to get him, but turns out we ended up getting Kamek instead. Because as a result, one of those Spotlight shops, daily shops as far as I'm aware, that one of them it does manage to able to list it, which appears to be Kamek. And as a result, despite the item is a bit useless at first, but it's actually kind of good whenever you're trying to able to go after the not only coins but also event tokens as well, if you really want able to spend on something. Speaking of the forms of the event tokens, I love the fact that any forms within the token shop, not only does it contain the Bowser and Bowser Jr. Battle Balloon, but also with the forms of the rest of the Koopaling phases as well, which, get it, because of the Bowser Tour and stuff like that, so I guess that pretty much makes a little bit more sense. So, now on top of all that stuff though about the fact that I believe for the majority of the tracks during the forms within the Bowser Tour, it's going to be most likely takes place in the majority of the Bowser Castle levels, or potentially Neo Bowser City from the likes of in Mario Kart 7, so that pretty much summed up as such. So anyway, because as a result, I get the strong sense of feeling until the second week of the tour, it's going to bring us into Bowser Jr. Pirate outfit, which technically we've already got, ever since in body forms of a all-clear golden pipe, as far as I'm aware, in one of those previous tours that we come across into, or something related to that. So as a result, yeah, there's nothing right to home about when it comes to getting the level up upgrades for Bowser Jr. outfit for its pirate outfit. So instead, you know what I mean, we ended up getting the Kamek one instead. So either way though, that's saying something. So anyway, so let's go and get ourselves the, what else, another puzzle piece right there. So we should be all good to go for this point. Seems that we're not doing too bad with all these bonus areas for this game so far. But again, if you mess up, then you're most able to take a chance of the risk assessment by simply wasting a life. So, oh jeez, this level's gonna bring us into a lot of cannon shots, which, kind of think about it though, is about the fact that this particular segment right there almost kind of reminds me of something related to Pirate Storm, from the likes of the forms of, let's just say, Sonic and the Secret Rings, except the fact that the entire beach environment in this game, thankfully it's not stormy just yet. Now the reason why I say just yet is most likely because I get the feeling that one of the later levels will be able to bring us something like, oh jeez, how am I supposed to get that N? Without Diddy, then I can simply just roll and jump and hope for the best. Which thankfully you did manage to accomplish that, by the way. Yeah, exactly, for sure, eh? So, anywho, yeah, let's get to my main gripe I have with the forms of the GBA Bowser Castle 4 returning to the forms of Mario Kart Tour. First off, as far as you probably already expected by this point, much like the forms of how it does it in Bowser Castle 1, Bowser Castle 2, and Bowser Castle 3 returning from Mario Kart Tour, the background itself is pretty much unchanged, which as a result, I was expecting to be able to actually give us a bit of a new visual flair, identity, or anything else like that, because I remember on the original version, it does manage to contain a pretty awesome looking background, something related to the forms of the heart of the Bowser's Castle or something, even though I haven't exactly explained all that stuff though, so either way though, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a life right there, because I think something tells me I do need able to bring the spare barrel right at the very end of the level, because I think something tells me we've only got one puzzle piece left. So, relatively speaking though, I will try to able to succeed this time. So, anywho, And as a result, I just cannot even believe they somehow managed to reuse the exactly same background as the other three Bowser Castle GBA tracks, which as a result, that's just lazy on that part. Especially, I'm really hoping that they're able to actually add a bit more visual to it, like, you know, with the phones of that pump machine or something like that. Although it's been a very long while since we actually last played Mario Kart Super Circuit, kind of thinking about it. But for the most part though, I do prefer the original version a bit more. And secondly, it has exactly the same issue as we've already discovered ever since in Wii Rainbow Road returning from Mario Kart Tour. Unfortunately, the entire track of Bowser Castle 4 is divided into sections, not laps itself. So as a result, I get it's a very, very, very long track, but I just don't know why they managed to go through section to section. That just doesn't make that much sense to me. But anyway, let's just go and finish the level. But yeah, I guess that's all there is to it though. And in fact, I'm almost finishing up in terms of Bowser Tour, because as far as I'm aware, I think I have to wait until for one more cup left. So as a result though, it might take a bit of a while to able to jump right in. So, speaking of Stormy, here we are, 2-5 Stormy Shore. I wonder what that's gonna be like. But I digress. The next thing we want to mention though is that, speaking of the forms of certain games based off from you have to utilize the microtransactions, as far as you guys should probably already know, recently we finally managed able to complete Super Kirby Clash after 4 years since when it first came out on the Nintendo Switch. The reason being for this is because, well, we somehow managed able to pay for 5,000 gem apples, which I know it seems pretty expensive, but as a result, I think it's kind of worth it for me. Not only because of how the fact that it gives me the ability to able to buy a lot of weapons as much as I can, as well as any other items as far as this is concerned, but also it allows me to able to actually just do oh jeez, oh dear. I must admit though, I do apologize for that particular capture card glitches here and there, so I must admit though right away, I honestly apologize for that. So, I think we're most able to try to fix that at some point, especially because concerning about the fact that I just have no idea why, it just keeps on having a lot of glitches like this, so... I do apologize guys. But I digress. So, anywho, and by the way, that's how you essentially get the bonus area, which is down there. So, if you missed out for a few seconds, despite capture card is actually gonna get glitchy and stuff like that, which again, hopefully by that time until on Friday, hopefully we'll try to fix that at one point. So, I just have no idea why, it just keeps on doing that, which... I know for a fact that because we have that particular Acer laptop for a very, very long time, like almost 10 years until July coming up, so as a result though, I'm not exactly sure if I was going to be ready for the upgrade just yet, until, let's just say, by the end of 2023, or anything else like that, so we shall see what happens in due time, so... Oh jeez, we come across into that particular octopus in the background. Yeah, I believe something tells me we will be able to actually just to realize that, well, it's actually pretty stormy in here, so, like, the tidal waves is actually going to get a little bit more rampant and all that stuff, and it's best to sure we don't have fell into water, and something tells me there's a puzzle piece right up there. It's not high enough. There we go. So, anywho, because obviously about the fact that in addition to able to giving me, you know, 5,000 gem apples, so that way I can buy all sorts of weapons, including the SDX variants of the forms of certain weapons in mind, but also allows me to able to actually just to buy the amount of attack power potions, and on top of all that stuff though, that, basically, it just already maxed out my tree level, in this case, tree level 10. And as a result, it allows me to give me 2,000 gem apples, which I will say, it is worth it at the end. Especially unlike the Forms of Power Dozen Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, despite I've already completed that particular game. Back in the Forms Event, I would say since during the Forms Event 2022, before the actual eShop closed. So as a result, why is it always the Forms of Power fact that we always end up completing those two games, like, quite later than the Forms of Power Dozen since back then, which I'm guessing because we obviously give those two games a second chance. So as a result, yeah. And for what I've managed to finally completely done with everything in terms of the forms of Super Kirby Clash in mind, I will say it is a much more of an improvement over the likes of the forms of how it does in the 3DS version, in my opinion. Although the only noticeable downsides about it is quite noticeable, is that it's going to be built around with microtransactions in mind. And on top of that, the online just keeps on lagging every time. And on top of all that stuff, though, it's not as pleasant as it looks. But hey, at least on the upside, though, I finally managed to complete the game. So, well, in terms of not only the story quest, but also recently the party quest as well. Which, jeez, that took a lot. I mean, a lot of work to able to actually just try to grind as many of those gem apples as much as I can, and pretty much everything else in about that game is just all about busy work. So, anyways, 2-6 Blowhole Bound. So, either way, I'm pretty sure we're going to be going back into a daylight beach environment as far as this is concerned. So, if I couldn't tell with the forms of that particular platform in mind. So, anywho, so I guess that's that. So the next thing we want to explain is about the fact that recently, during the Forms event today, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has recently came out today on the big screen. And let me tell you, me and Mighty are going to be super excited about it. Although, unfortunately though, we don't think we can able to see it until tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure that Silver was also going to be entering the actual film itself as well. But unfortunately though, he just caught up by the forms of specific delays or anything else like that. So, but as to be expected, no spoilers needs to be mentioned, especially because it's the newest film. So as a result, I'm very surprised about the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 just somehow came way earlier than I expected. It feels a bit similar to the forms of how it does in the Super Mario Bros. Movie release date syndrome, where basically, if you think originally it's going to be coming out on Friday, but it pushes forward a little bit and during at some point on Wednesday, so, and it happens to be on the exactly the same beginning portion of the month, so pretty interesting all things considered. Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing as well. Then let me tell you, I'm thinking that hopefully this film will be a lot better than the forms of how it does it for the likes of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, because I don't know about you, but I feel like that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is, I don't know, a bit meh. Although, to be fair though, because of our fact that we're still on the forms of Phase 5, in terms of the forms of the majority of the Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff, so, but it takes a bit of time to able to actually just to know any single, like, concepts or anything else like that, so, and as a result, yeah, you might actually get some capacity about it. Although, what I've noticed is that, thankfully, Rotten Tomatoes, that did thankfully manage to able to actually give a film a pretty good score so far when it comes to critics alike, which appears to be by the forms of 79%. I'm not exactly sure what the actual the audience might think about it, but I'm sure enough though it will be pretty good. So either way though, but it's just a shame that we won't be able to see it on day one, because obviously that Silver needs to be able to work on certain things first, and especially noticeable that maybe potentially Sonic might also be invited as well, and perhaps even maybe that Sonic will bring Tiana with him, and I think that's as far as I can think about it. So speaking of films though, is about the fact that we were predicting from about a few weeks ago that we're hoping about the fact that one of those films in particular, called Peter Pan and Wendy, may be able to actually get a lot of negative reviews and all that stuff though, at least in terms of critics and fans alike. Well, apparently, fans seemed able to despise it, which is obviously true, especially in my case anyway though, especially how the fact that, well, obviously in Rotten Tomatoes did actually receive the film for fans for audience scores about 16% out of 100 because they messed up the actual nostalgia. And on top of that, a lot of changes doesn't make that much sense. And on top of all that stuff though, it's just everything else about the film is just bleak. And on top of all that stuff though, for whatever some weird reason, critics seems to be able to enjoy it, which I have no idea why. They managed to be able to boost up the scores for the critics, like it did say, oh no, I need to get that G! Oh, I just missed it, no! Oh, we definitely need a G, because obviously we need to unlock the next temple level. We'll take a death anyway. So far we know on 64 lives. Yeah, no. And what makes it a little bit of a bit of a weird thing to notice is that we somehow pushed back a little bit. So, which thankfully we can able to bring Diddy Kong back. So that's sure it's something. So anyway, because yeah, the critics seems able to give it a 66% for whatever reason, which I honestly have no clue of why the review scores has to be like this. Although, relatively speaking though, enjoying at some point in the next couple of weeks or so, that I'm hoping that the Little Mermaid live-action adaptation will also receive a lot of negative score, especially about the fact that, well, oh no! I somehow timed my jumps, and but we back onto 64 lives again. What, you keep thinking about the forms of that familiar number for the sake of the forms of the Nintendo 64 stuff? Well, I couldn't help it for myself, you know? Oh, and on top of all that stuff though, speaking of something related to Marvel stuff, unfortunately though, one of those releases on the Nintendo Switch did somehow manage to realize that one of those games in particular has been cancelled on the Nintendo Switch version. Like, I think it still will be releasing on multiple platforms on PlayStation family of systems, on the PS4 and 5, as well as Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC if I'm assuming so. But for the Nintendo Switch, well, sadly that game is no longer going to be in public, and that game I'm referring to as Marvel's Midnight Suns. So as a result, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that you can't play this game on the go. So, yeah, it seems kind of unfortunate. But, as a result, because of the faults of, I'm not exactly sure how do I explain about any of these kind of stuff, of the reason why that game has been cancelled on Switch. I'm guessing it's probably because of the forms of some complications of, I don't know, it's hard to explain really. But at least thankfully we did manage to get all the Kong letters and shake the Wii mode like crazy, and get some more banana coins in the process. Although, unfortunately though, we're missing, once again, one piece remaining of that puzzle piece. So, oh boy, it's gonna be one of those scenarios, isn't it? But, it doesn't seem to able to take that long to able to complete any of those levels, I'm assuming, so... Alright, here we go on to 2-7, titled Terror. Oh boy. I wonder what this level's gonna bring us this time. I think, if I recall correctly, the main emphasis on the stage is going to be involved around the tidal wave itself. Like, I can assure you, if you get involved with the actual tidal itself, I believe you die instantly. So, oh wow, a puzzle piece from the get-go? Thanks. I appreciate it. Especially concerning about the fact that, well, unlike the majority of the puzzle pieces in this game are meant though right away, there are, you know, as I said before, they are pretty well hidden if you're able to actually not knowing what to do here. So, yeah, you must able to actually hide behind those little rock structure right here, so just in case you're able to be... Oh, God! Okay. I was really hoping that the enemy will respond, but I think something tells me that I think we messed it up. Yeah, we messed up. Jeez, those item locations seems to be a little bit more obscure, but Okay, something's worth mentioning about this also is that recently the Super Mario Bros. Movie that you know with the most recent new film has finally accomplished something. Like, do you guys even remember about the fact that we were predicting about the fact that that film will be reached onto $1 billion for its box office earnings? Well, they finally did it, and it's even much more incredible than that, is that it happened during... Excuse me. It happens during the forms of by the end of the month, which appears to be on April, which I will say it is impressive, especially concerning about the fact that I wonder what's going to be up next for Mario, which, you know what I mean, we're still hoping for a new game to be released at some point in this year, because as a result, all we're getting right now is just DLC for not only for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but also with Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which as a result, hopefully we're also able to see some more infos during the forms of Mario Plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope entering at some point in next month for its next DLC entering at some point in the Ubisoft Forward presentation, which as a result it will be the case. So Because, you know, we've already got the first wave, or the first pack, which, despite the fact that we still haven't completely done with everything in the Tower of Doom because of our strategy to somehow flopped, so as a result, though, we definitely need to get a little bit of practice on it. Or to make matters even much more of that thing, that I will admit the right way kind of bothers me a little bit, is that I'm not a big fan of the randomization kind of system, which as a result, it gives you like, ah, dang it, that crap is in the way! Ah, drat. I have no idea why I say like D-drat or anything else like that, so... But again, I apologize for that particular comment take, is a bit still to a point, as I said before. That's just because I just got annoyed by the fact that the capture card gets a lot of glitches all of a sudden, so... Like I assured you, we're pretty much almost nearly at the end of the level, believe it or not. So let me just go ahead and do roll jump in here to grab an N. And grab Diddy Kong in the process, so it makes the entire level a bit easier for us. All he gets is just bananas, I'm assuming so anyway, so... Oh jeez, this one gets a bit tricky though, because now we need to crouch for certain, like, rocks to hide in, so... Oh, quick! And also you can able to actually, do a bit of a ground slam on those switches, so that way you can activate the time limit, rock that protects you, so that should be all good. Alright, so we'll just go in. Oh no! I totally forgot the tidal wave comes through the window! Ah, jeez. What is this, like Sonic Mania Flying Battery Zone or something? I don't know. Anyway, we'll just try again, I guess. So, yeah, I was very happy about the fact that the Super Mario Bros. Movie has now reached the $1 billion mark. So as a result, I'm very happy about it. Especially, to make matters even better, at least I'm assuming so anyway, that, you know, the Super Mario Bros. Movie has surpassed $1 billion worldwide in the box office, and is actually the first animated feature, or the animated movie, to do this since 2019, and the 5th since the pandemic era, according to what it says during the forms of Cartoon News Network. So, pretty impressive for the Mario Red Plumber, so as a result, yeah, I'm very happy about that, as I said before. So either way, at least thankfully we've already got all of the con letters now, but I get the horrible feeling something tells me once again we're missing one piece left, so... I wasn't too surprised about this, or anything else like that, although, I think... Is it possible I could probably backtrack a bit? I think I'm also able to not risk it too much, because especially noticeable we don't want to waste time, so especially for that instant death tidal wave, so nah, there's nothing there. I was hoping for a lot of motion mashing thingy again, but apparently my timing jump is a bit earlier, so oh well. But with that being said, I think we can now able to actually access to the next temple level, so I wonder what that's going to be like, I wonder. But we'll save that until for later, because we're about to head back into the previous stages and find the rest of the remaining puzzle pieces, so we'll meet you guys back. Something tells me that in the beginning portion with that particular thing I need to stomp. There it is right there. Ah, oh, jeez, I did not see that coming. Alright, on to the next level. Alright, if I recall, there are 2 puzzle pieces in here that I'm missing, such as this one. And the other one is going to be, it requires a roll attack between both Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. So, gee, I did not see that coming either. That's just because about the fact that I almost assume it's going to be like something like a solid wall. But it turns out that we have to roll into it. Something I need to get used to with this, especially because, you know, it's been, you know, years since we've actually last played this. So, but regardless, we finally finished up the rest of this stuff. Alright, on to the next level, which appears to be... this level. I think, if I was assuming correctly, that when you get to this little bowling section right here, which I think, I will must say, it does look pretty cool if you manage able to knock them out, something shiny is up there. Yep, I thought so. I thought so. Alright, now we're going to go back onto Tidal Terror to find the last one. Alright, if I was assuming correctly, it's gonna be at the very end. And I think something tells me this bucket thing is gonna be related to that. Yep, I should have known that. Good lord, those puzzle pieces are very well hidden, like I said before. So anyways, let's get into Tumbling Temple 2-K. Oh boy, this is gonna get pretty tough at this rate. Although, unlike the forms of how it does on the first temple level, that, well, obviously you can't able to actually bring Diddy Kong with us for the sake of the forms of one of those barrels. I get the strong sense of feeling in this level this time that we were able to actually find a DK barrel somewhere, which, truth be told, there it is. So at least thankfully that we don't have to necessarily worry about the actual frustration anytime soon. So, well, assuming of course it's all if we get to, oh, we missed time on jump. But that's okay, because we'll bring Diddy Kong back. So, anyway, there's another thing I honestly forgot to mention about during the course of on Monday, is that, well, since we are on the beach tropical setting as far as this is concerned, well, I'm happy to report that, well, happy 24th anniversary of the release of the SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon, and let me tell you though, it is just such a great show looking back, especially, well, to be more specifically since the beginning era, like specifically seasons 1 through 3. In my opinion, especially unlike the forms of how it does it on Season 6, it might be considered to be one of the weakest seasons or somewhat, although some people does have their own opinion related when it comes to the forms of certain seasons alike. But I'll admit though right away though, I think the beginning portions are still a classic, especially because of all that, you know, a lot of memes everywhere, and especially noticeable with this top-notch things itself. Like, I don't know about you, Mighty, there are so many of those, what, it's just an ordinary crappy patty, oh my goodness, Squidward meme, like, all across the world right now. Yeah, you mean about the fact that I believe that KevKing74 did one of these videos since in 2022, that, you remember that time when, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom has been delayed until 2023? Yeah, I think I do remember that time actually, especially concerning about the fact that, yeah, there are a lot of memes, around the world anyway. Like, ranging between, with all that fan services, they prefer, classic, series compared to the forms of the reboot style. Like, there's one involves around the Powerpuff Girls, and the other one involves around My Little Pony Generation 4. And on top of that, with the forms of, any other, like, stuff for that matter, including buddy forms of gaming-related stuff too. So, yeah, I've honestly have no idea why they managed able to bring that meme a lot. I'm guessing it's probably because about the fact that, well, it might be tricky to explain. That involves around the forms of how the fact that, well, again, it's been a very long while since we've actually last watched SpongeBob SquarePants TV show and stuff like that, even though despite the fact that I keep falling into the lava, because I did not expect there's a puzzle piece down there. So, anyway, but at least we can able to keep trying and trying as far as this is concerned. But still, those temple levels are very tricky and difficult, especially that, well, platforming and timing is key here, especially you can't afford able to mess up, so that's essentially how these level style usually works out to be, or somewhat. But still, the good news about this level is that every time when we die, then we'll obviously bring Diddy Kong back, so that should be all good. But either way, as a result of that kind of stuff though, I think that's as far as we can talk about for the sake of the forms of today's discussion. Yeah, I know that, especially concerning about the fact that we were originally going to be able to try to explain things elsewhere, but I think we'll let Tiana will able to mention more about any of these specific stuff, and why did I miss that? Ah, jeez, that was kind of my fault. But relatively speaking though, we don't able to actually activate something if we do die continuously, because I think something tells me that much like, let's say, New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Super Mario Galaxy 2, that something tells me something will happen if you dare die quite a few times in a level, which, do you even remember about the forms of the Super Guide mode in the forms of the New Super Mario Bros. Wii, as well as the Cosmic Guide? Well, apparently though, this game also features a guide feature if you do manage to die a lot. Although, what makes this a bit annoying to me though, is that it pops up everywhere, every time whenever we, well, you see what I mean, whenever we get to the forms of the next couple of worlds in the future, because let me tell you, it gets a bit annoying at points, so, Alright, so... Oh, God! Okay. Ah! Oh! Come on! Oh, wait. Ah, dang it. I was expecting that would work. Ah, jeez. This might take a while. Although, relatively speaking, thankfully most of the levels are very short, so don't expect things to be too lengthy as far as... Wow. We literally just got hit by the forms of that bat-like enemy. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. Yeah, because I almost assumed if I was gonna mess up at one point, but thankfully I did somehow live, surprisingly. Oh, jeez. I don't think there's any hard speed. Oh, really? That bat's just in my way. Okay, come on. Alright, it's almost there. Alright, I can assure you the puzzle piece is going to be way higher up there. Let's wait for this bat to go through this point. And sure enough, it is. Oh god! Ah! Oh my god, it's getting nerve-wracking. Alright, if I was assuming... Oh, there's the last puzzle piece! Ah! Go on! Go! Oh god, that was close. Oh my lord. This is getting nerve-wracking. And to make matters worse, I've only got one heart left. Can I possibly make this? Well, I don't know about you. I think this is the last part. I think it is. Woo! Oh my god, I've done it with one heart left. Oh my lord, this level's pretty tricky. Oh man, we finally done it. And even better, we got all the puzzle pieces on that particular point. Oh my lord, that was nerve-wracking, you know? But usually completing that level is what matters the most. So anyway, now we're done with that, and now it's going to move on to 2-B, Pinching Pirates. I believe we'll come across into the next boss fight, can I think about it? And thankfully we're able to bring Diddy Kong back. Yeah, because every time if you go to the boss fight, then we obviously always gonna bring Diddy Kong with us, so that should be all handy. Okay, so here we go with the next boss fight in the game, known as the Forms of Scurvy Crew. Because not only do we able to come across into one crab pirate, but also with 2, but even 3 pirate crabs, as far as I was able to try to say for this point. And unfortunately though, there's nothing we can able to say about for this point, because unfortunately our computer keeps lagging again, so yeah, we definitely need to fix 2 things at the same time. So as a result, yeah, basically in this boss fight right here, is that we need to able to do this like, I would say for about quite a few times. So basically that, in order to able to deal the damage on one of these 3 crabs, is that you have to bonk on their head, then basically you have to do a bit of a slam, hand slam attack, and basically that way you can able to actually knock them down, and you simply jump on top of them, or jump onto them. If you think you've done, as it turns out that he's actually, those 3 crab pirates are actually going to be in this particular phase, and I think all you're supposed to do is that whenever you pay attention to what they get their claws up, or in some cases one of their weapons up as well, I believe it's your chance there you can able to actually just, I don't know, roll on them. Although, let me go ahead and try to do that properly. So, yeah, there it goes. And then they'll topple over, and you have to bonk on their weak spot for about 3 times. And then you do it vice versa, and I think this boss is pretty easy as well. So, either way, though, we'll just go ahead and jump on their head, and we have to do the same thing for the blue one. And, yeah, that's all there is to it with this boss fight. It's just pretty simple when you get the hang of it, though. It's a shame that we lost Diddy Kong again after the events of that temple level, but that's okay, because eventually until the next world, we're able to actually meet up with Diddy Kong again, so either way, there goes that, and, well, we're able to stomp on them, and that's it. That's all there is to it with this fight, so... Still, pretty easy when you're able to know the actual, knowing how to attack them, so... And something tells me with those particular Tikis has been controlling them is actually not one, but 3 Maraca kind of Tikis as far as I'm aware. I know they do have names, but either way, let's just check the Wiimote as fast as we can. And let's see if we can able to get like 23 or higher hits as far as I'm aware. And the answer is... Oh, not quite. Just only 22. Why is it always 22 all of a sudden? Which I honestly have no idea why. If you managed able to do that segment a bit earlier, then obviously you get like 1 hit, and that's all there is to say. And with that, the beach world is completed, so huzzah for that. So with that being said though, we got the endings off here, so join us next time for more Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country Returns. Is that we're going to be moving on to the 3rd world in the game, which is the Ruins. So, I think this world will be the shortest so far, so I'll see you guys on Friday. Later fellas.